The paddock is buzzing, the whispers are growing louder, and Francesco Bagnaia has finally had enough. What began as quiet speculation has now exploded into one of the most sensitive storylines heading towards the 2027 MotoGP season. A two-time world champion questioning his future at Ducati is not just headline material. It is a potential seismic shift in the championship's power structure. Behind closed doors, tensions are rising. Ducati's long-term vision appears to be changing. And for the first time since Bagnaia became the face of the Bologna marque, his place at the centre of that project no longer feels guaranteed. When Bagnaia spoke, it was not the voice of a rider brushing off rumours. It was the voice of a champion weighing his options. And when a rider of Bagnaia's calibre openly admits that interesting opportunities lie ahead, the entire MotoGP grid listens, because this is no longer gossip. This is a warning shot. Francesco Bagnaia has openly hinted that a major turning point could be approaching in his MotoGP career, as rumours surrounding a potential departure from Ducati beyond 2026 continue to intensify. Speaking amid growing speculation in the paddock, the Italian rider acknowledged that he is actively considering several possibilities for the 2027 MotoGP season. The statement comes at a time when Ducati's strategic direction appears increasingly focused elsewhere, raising serious questions about Bagnaia's long-term future with the factory team. Bagnaia, a two-time MotoGP world champion, has been a Ducati rider since his Premier Class debut in 2019. Promoted to the factory squad in 2021, he delivered historic success by securing back-to-back world titles in 2022 and 2023, firmly establishing himself as one of the most successful riders in Ducati's modern era. However, the landscape has shifted dramatically. The 2025 season has proven to be one of Bagnaia's most challenging campaigns in recent years. While he has managed to secure 2 victories, his overall form has dipped, and he currently trails his teammate Marquez, who has been the dominant force within the Ducati garage. Crucially, Ducati has made little effort to hide its priorities. The Italian manufacturer has publicly confirmed that renewing Marc Marquez's contract is its primary focus, with long-term planning clearly revolving around the 8-time world champion. In contrast, Bagnaia's name has noticeably fallen down the list when discussions turn to Ducati's 2027 vision. Further fueling speculation is the growing chatter linking Pedro Acosta to a future Ducati seat. The arrival of a generational talent like Acosta would inevitably reshape Ducati's rider hierarchy, potentially leaving little room for Bagnaia in the factory lineup. Addressing the rumours directly, Bagnaia did not deny the possibility of a change. Instead, he admitted that several appealing options are on the table, and suggested that a significant decision regarding his future could be made sooner rather than later. Despite the uncertainty, Bagnaia has remained fully committed on track. During pre-season testing at Sepang, he showed encouraging pace and admitted to feeling more comfortable on the bike compared to last year. Yet even with those positive signs, the question mark over his Ducati future remains firmly in place as MotoGP edges closer to 2027. This situation highlights a fascinating dilemma for Ducati. Bagnaia is not just a rider. He is a proven champion who delivered the titles that reshaped Ducati's modern identity. Yet MotoGP is brutally forward-looking, and Ducati appears willing to prioritize star power and future potential over loyalty. Marc Marquez brings global attention, marketing value, and undeniable performance. Pedro Acosta represents the future. In that equation, Bagnaia risks becoming the odd man out, despite his achievements. From Bagnaia's perspective, this may be the strongest position he has ever held off the bike. A double world champion entering a potential rider market reset ahead of 2027 is a rare opportunity. Manufacturers looking for leadership, consistency, and championship pedigree would see him as a cornerstone project rider rather than a supporting act. What makes this story particularly explosive is the timing. Ducati's public stance has effectively pushed Bagnaia into reassessing his loyalty, and once that door opens, it rarely closes again in MotoGP. Whether Bagnaia ultimately stays or walks away, one thing is clear: the calm, loyal Ducati era of Francesco Bagnaia is over. What replaces it could redefine the MotoGP grid for years to come. The implications of Bagnaia's situation stretch far beyond one rider and one team. Ducati's internal balance has shifted, and with that comes an unavoidable sense of political tension inside the garage. When a manufacturer begins planning openly around one rider while leaving another in limbo, trust becomes fragile, even between champions and the teams they helped build. For Bagnaia, this is not merely about results on track. It is about status, influence, and respect within a factory structure that is evolving rapidly. His frustration is rooted in the feeling that past success is being discounted in favor of short-term impact and commercial pull. In MotoGP, that is often the moment when elite riders start looking elsewhere. Other manufacturers are watching closely. A rider with Bagnaia's technical feedback, race intelligence, and proven championship mentality would instantly become one of the most valuable assets on the market. Teams rebuilding or seeking a leader for a new technical era would see him as a safe, yet formidable choice. There is also the question of timing. The 2027 regulations are expected to usher in a fresh chapter for MotoGP, with technical resets often leveling the field. Securing a rider who understands how to lead a development project through such a transition could be decisive. And Bagnaia fits that profile perfectly. Inside Ducati, the pressure is mounting. Managing multiple superstars has historically been one of the most delicate challenges in motorsport. If Bagnaia feels marginalized while Marquez becomes the clear focal point, the risk is not just losing a rider, but destabilizing the harmony that has powered Ducati's recent dominance. From a competitive standpoint, letting Bagnaia leave could strengthen rival manufacturers overnight. Ducati would not only lose a champion, but potentially face him as a direct threat on a competing machine. That scenario alone makes the decision far more complex than it appears on the surface. Bagnaia's calm demeanor in public contrasts sharply with the intensity behind the scenes. His words have been measured, but the message is unmistakable. His patience has limits. The next few months could quietly determine whether Ducati retains one of the most successful riders in its history or watches him slip away. Ultimately, this story is about identity. Ducati must decide whether it remains the team that rewards long-term success and loyalty, or one that continuously reshapes itself around the biggest names and brightest prospects. Bagnaia's future will reveal which path they choose.